1-minute intro. Seconds. Five, four, three, two.
Welcome, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out. This is the world's most popular live gay television show, and it's 8 p.m. Wednesday, August 26, 2020. I'm your host and moderator, Al Ferguson. Welcome, America. We are going to have so much fun and an entertaining show tonight. So thank you for joining us, and it's time to get started with It's Happening Out. Right at the top of the show, let's begin tonight with Happening Now. We're going to do some breaking news. Happening Now and It's Happening Out welcomes cast and crew members from Colombia and Cape Cod. We're going to go live for a film called Nowhere as part of one of the largest LGBTQ film festivals in the entire world, the Outshine Film Festival. Happening Out Television Network, including It's Happening Out, is a proud partner with the Outshine Film Festival, which is running until August 30th. Tickets are on sale now at outshinefilm.com. All of the platforms of Happening Out Television Network will be reporting interesting news from one and many of the important films that are running of one of the most important LGBTQ film festivals on this planet. Here's a short video of what this festival is all about. Watch this. Well, tonight we'd like to introduce you to one of the great films part of the Outshine Film Festival. It's called Nowhere, and some of the people involved in creating this film, both behind the camera and in front. The film is about an openly gay couple in New York who must decide whether to return to Colombia or stay in the United States when one of their visa requests is rejected. Sounds very topical to me with the RNC going on this week. Either way, the thoughts and discussions associated with the decision will have a profound effect on the cover and the couple. Tonight we introduce the writer-directors, brothers, Francisco and David Salazar, and some of the actors of the film, Miguel Gonzalez, Juan Pablo Castablanco, and Natalie Rangel. Everybody, welcome to It's Happening Out.
Thank you for having us. Thank you all. Very nice to be here.
Let's start with Francisco and David. You are coming tonight from Cape Cod. Everyone else is coming from Colombia or Bogota in Colombia. So this is all live. We prepare you, America. This is highly technical in terms of the different places that we're coming from and folding our host of It's Happening Out in all simultaneously. So be patient with us. Francisco, you and David are brothers. Tell us a little bit about this film, Nowhere.
So, Nowhere is a film dedicated about, like you said, a gay couple living in New York that struggles with the challenges of immigration and identity. Adrian, who is one of the characters, has parents who are very conservative, who don't know about his status as a gay man, and he basically he wants to cover that up from them. He wants to live a relationship with Sebastian, as openly as he can in New York, but without having to bring his parents into the situation. So when Sebastian's visa situation, you know, he struggles with the visa situation, suddenly Adrian has to own up to the fact that he might have to open up to his parents.
And the two of you wrote the film, and then you both are co-directors of the film. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And y'all are from Colombia also?
So we were born in New York, but we're actually Colombian citizens. My parents are from Colombia. We're first generation Americans, and we went to Colombia to shoot the film. Yes.
Ah, I see. And Miguel and Juan and Natalie are stars of the film. All of you are coming tonight from Colombia, Bogota in southern Colombia. Welcome to It's Happening Out. We're very excited to hear from you. I'm curious, what was your experience in doing an independent film like this and in the United States? Are all of you able to come back and forth to the United States freely? What was it like to do this film, and especially in terms of promotion of this film? What was your experience like? Whoever would like to start.
Is the first movie I made in two different countries. I used to go to the United States constantly, but not in this kind of work. So I'm so happy to be filming here in Bogota. All the interiors we made it here in Bogota. And it was really nice to go to New York and spend time with the guys. And for Juan, it was his first time in the United States, so it's really nice to spend all that experience with all my partners and colleagues.
And how about you, Natalie? Do you come back and forth to the United States, or?
I do. Yes, I come back and forth. Well, I do have a story of immigration, but that's like a real true story. That after 15 years, I was able to go back to New York, and I think that was the best experience I could ever have.
And Juan, tell us a little about your experience with doing this film, Nowhere.
Yeah, for me it was a really big experience because it was my first time in a lot of things. It's my first feature film. It's my first time acting in my first time in USA. So everything about this is just magic for me. And also to
Well, as we told you, America, and Juan is coming from southern Colombia, so we are going to have some technical issues with this connection. Francisco and David, I want to ask you about the film here. Tell us a little bit of what it was like to debut a film like Nowhere in 2020 when we're dealing in COVID-19. Is it different in experiences that you've had before, or how does it differ?
So actually, when we were originally going to start the promotion of this film, we were really excited because it was going to be finally in theaters. It was back in April when Outshine had announced the festival, and then when they all of a sudden, when everything closed down, we were kind of like, disappointed. But then when they offered the experience of virtual, we were kind of hesitant at the beginning. But then, we realized how amazing it is to have a virtual film festival, particularly at LGBT Film Festival, because there's so much, there's so many audiences that you can cross over that generally wouldn't be have access to it. So we were really excited about that prospect. So it's been really a really great experience having and being able to see audiences who would generally not see this film and see it because of the virtual experience.
I'm curious. Francisco is they're brothers, Francisco and David. You co-wrote, you co-directed the film. Francisco is gay. David is straight. Did it create any differences in writing the film and directing the film with one being gay and one being straight? Were there any differences, or it's just so natural for you that you fight all of the time because you're brothers and it didn't really matter what your sexual orientation was?
I think one of the things that we had talked about was that we were going to bring in our own personal experiences. We said, relationships work in many ways the same way, whether you're straight or gay. And we felt that, my brother brought in his own relationship experiences into the film. I brought my own personal journey into the film as well. So it was really a good way of bringing in both of our stories and putting it into this film without having to show a difference between gay or straight. I think that was probably one of the most incredible things to be able to do, and to be able to share our own personal stories within the film.
And I mean, this has been our first feature film, but we directed numerous short films together, so we already had a lot of experience working together. So of course, the typical fights that you have as brothers, they were there. The typical moments of working together and figuring out our process, all of that was there. So in that sense, like my brother said, we brought in our own personal experience to craft this story. But the process of working was already very much embedded in our
I'm also curious for you. So you talked about this series at first. We hope our connection is a little better. But when you came to New York, first time to do something like this, did you have any impressions of the LGBT community in the United States or in New York when you came? Because you're not in the capital in Colombia. You're not in Bogota. You're in Southern Colombia. Did you have any impressions on the LGBT community here in New York and in America?
Yeah, I feel the difference between America and my country because a lot of people have to hide here just for being gay. But there, I just feel like part of something, and that I don't know. I'm gonna say something about that in my country. Maybe I should be in a shadow, but in a country like you, I could be a rainbow or something like that. So that being in your country gave me the opportunity to see another different culture and a different way that you see the LGBTQ community.
Oh, interesting. I want to ask you, Francisco. I'm sorry. Your experience this year in terms of doing the film festival, your association with an independent film festival, especially an LGBTQ film festival, you committed in this film to do it live, showing the films to a live audience here in South Florida. Now, you might have had 300, 400 people in the theater. Now you can show the film in the same festival, literally, to thousands of people. What's your reaction of, well, this is how we started, but this is how we've ended up because of COVID-19?
I think, if you speak to my brother, you speak to me, you speak to Miguel, Juan Pablo, and Natalie, I think we're really excited. We just had our premiere in Colombia on last Wednesday, and it was
congratulations.
It would have never been shown on television had it not been for the fact that it went virtual, because that's not the type of cinema that, for example, in Colombia, you see and you have that access to. And the same here. A lot of people, a lot of family members, a lot of people who dinner audience friends, and people that we don't even know saw the film and were really excited to be able to see it, and we've had such a wonderful reaction to it. So I think it's been an overall positive experience, and I know my brother and I, we were very skeptical at the beginning, but we're really just excited about everything that's happening.
Absolutely outstanding. That is a fantastic soundbite. America, we remind you. South Florida, Florida, we remind you. Outshine Film Festival is one of the largest LGBTQ film festivals in the world, and it is so important to support them because they're a 501c3 not-for-profit. Film festivals, LGBT film festivals, are not for profit, and if there's ever a year to support them, it is 2020. One last question, David, I'm curious for you. So you could do this actually with a film festival and showing your film live, which you could do previously. Now you have to do it digitally, and you have the benefits of the digital. For 2021, which do you hope for? To be able to present or to continue to be digital? What's your hope?
Well, I think it all depends on where we are in terms of the safety of the whole world in terms of COVID. Obviously, you would love to be able to show it in a theater, to be there with an audience, to experience how people are feeling in the moment of watching the film. But obviously, you can't take for granted the fact that, like my brother said, the streaming options, the virtual options have opened up the film to a completely new audience that, again, potentially we might never have had under the current circumstances. So,
I just want to add one thing too. This Q&A would not be possible if we were doing, the fact that all three of our actors are here with us and they're able to be participating in all of the Q&As and all the press. That's also that wouldn't be as possible. So I think that's something that we've also been able to win.
And Francisco, that's a great note in participation with the film. The Outshine Film Festival allows you to interact digitally with the writers, directors, and stars of the film. So it's a really unique and very personal opportunity to interact. We're very, very proud to help support and sponsor the Outshine Film Festival because this is something that is also unique in 2020. A digital gay talk show is introducing a film digitally from multiple locations, both in the United States and internationally. And we're bringing our entire community together, and you're watching it live. How interesting in terms of presenting what you're doing. And the film is called Nowhere. And we remind you, America, look into, go online for ticketing. It is at outshinefilm.com. Francisco, David, Miguel, Juan, and Natalie, thank you so much for joining It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show. Good night, y'all. Thank you. All right. So, good evening again. And you, as I said, are watching the world's most popular live gay TV show. Where can you see something like that coming from multiple international destinations live? Tonight, being It's Happening Out, we are going to tell so many of your stories, talk about so many things that are important in the LGBT community, all next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
There's this new video, and just as a preface to this video, let me note some of the headlines about this video from
Women's Equality Day is important because
it's the beginning of when women were given the right to vote. It's about
Our new game, Saved by the Bell. It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Misty Eyez. With your host, reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening again, America. We're live, and this is an unedited talk show. We're unedited, so anything that you are going to see here with this technology that we're implementing is unedited. So you're going to see anything, and anything can happen. This is the world's most popular live gay TV show. Proof of that. Last week's show, 166,000 of you watched us in YouTube alone. We thank you very much. To help continue to propel in YouTube, especially Facebook, Instagram, other platforms, make sure you subscribe and click on the bell for updates about It's Happening Out. On Facebook, it's like and share the video to start a watch party. We encourage you to have a watch party in the show tonight. It's very easy. Here's how to do it. Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click
He's
share.
trying to fight that.
After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Well, let's get started right at the top of the show, and that is our.
On your market, so let's go.
Hey, good. Get right into it. It's our meme of the week. And we want to have some fun tonight. Let's begin with our meme of the week. If you hold your phone just right, is the name of the meme. It looks like you're writing Henry Cavill.
Superman?
And we're going to watch that meme.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He could do his shave though.
Now, in a moment, I believe Scott Newmark, the president of Americans for Trump, is going to be with us tonight, and he's straight, and he's looking at this right now, and we're going to talk about that in a moment.
He's not going to get the same reaction.
No, he's not. He didn't react the same way the rest of America just reacted. Next, we're going to play our yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. And our hosts are going to be asked 4 questions. If they agree, they take a shot. If they disagree, they don't take a shot. Everybody ready how we're doing this? Power, you've got something to drink here? Because we're all ready. I'm shotted up. I'm ready.
Shotted up.
Yeah, all right.
Shut up!
Power, I can't help but notice that you're in a beautiful pink and purple button down and a purple tie. I'm already getting texts. Who is that, and what did they do with Power Infiniti?
It's her brother.
Well, I thought that I would give the extreme before to what you guys see in the opening, which is my after. Dressing normal for me is actually dressing alternative.
No. We'll explore more of that. And of course, I'm joined here tonight with Chef Josie, and Chef Josie is running for mayor of the gayest place on planet Earth, Wilton Manors, and I think that's probably going great for you. And Misty Eyez here, looking all fabulous in the blue and white summer apparel. Those are called Palm Beach stripes, by the way.
Are they?
And that's what it's called. Those are Palm Beach stripes, and you're looking great. And just shortly, we have Scott Newmark with us from Americans for Trump. All right, let's play our game, I'd Swallow That. We're all ready. Question number 1, I'd swallow that. I would let Donald Trump have sex with me if it meant he 100% lost the election. My eyes on Power.
Done.
I shouldn't be laughing. I shouldn't.
You didn't do it?
I didn't do it.
Oh,
I did not do it either.
Yeah.
I've always known that Al is not a real ally.
Oh, that's how we're going to throw down tonight.
I'll take one for the team. I'll do it. If it meant 100% for sure, he would not win the election, 100% I would do it. To be honest, I have had sex with way worse people. I am completely and totally repulsed by this man, and I would not have sex with him if he's the last man on earth, but I would have sex with him if he 100% would not win the election.
And Josie, your rebuttal is?
Listen, there is...
Wait, go ahead, Power. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I would dig up Osama bin Laden's body and have sex with that. Ain't nobody I wouldn't.
Josie, your rebuttal is?
Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, like, let me just be honest with you. Okay, there is nothing in the world. There's that amount of money. I don't care what the guarantee. I'm a gambler. I would take my risk, and there is no way I'm ever having sex with Donald Trump.
Yeah. And I've already said, nope, not taking it. Not taking the shot. But I'm hoping we'll watch November 3rd closely. I'm not an ally. Oh.
Oh, boy.
All right. Question number 2. I'd swallow that. There are terrible movies I love just because I'm hot for one of the stars. Oh, please, we saw one of them, Superman. I'm watching you so closely, Power. Lie to me. Go ahead. Any comments from y'all?
I have definitely watched a million movies only because I've been attracted to the person in it. I am not a lesbian. I've said that 100 times on the show. But Jennifer's Body is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I've watched it like 10 times because Megan Fox is so damn gorgeous.
Is using the word whore shaming?
Whore?
Whore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shaming?
That is
Okay.
shaming.
All right, then that word was not used.
Okay,
All right.
but Megan Fox is sexy, and I've watched Jennifer's Body.
Sorry.
I've definitely watched lots of movies because there's been hot people.
Okay, I didn't hear you, Power.
You could use the word whore on me. Ain't no shame here.
Ain't no shame either.
I don't know if you guys ever remembered the motion picture back in the 80s or 90s, Masters of the Universe, starring Dolph Lundgren. Horrible.
Oh
movie,
yeah, oh yeah. I saw that film.
Oh, I hadn't thought about him in a long time.
Lundgren is and has been my everything, and so
Yes.
I don't care. He could be in a Sesame Street movie.
What was that Hulk movie thing that he did from the cartoon? Dolph Lundgren did that. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Cartoon. Well, the cartoon was He-Man. And
He-Man, that's it.
Did he do He-Man? I don't remember him doing He-Man.
Dolph
Masters
Lundgren.
of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe.
Oh, that
he
was it. Oh,
he was
yeah.
He-Man.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Josie?
No, not actually, because I don't want to admit the movies.
The movie. All right, let's move on to question number 3. I'd swallow that. I had my own version of the Sears catalog as a kid that I would hide away with the Sears catalog.
Oh, so
and yeah, all right.
Yeah,
so-
I definitely in the 90s I had a catalog called International Male, and it was a clothing catalog for men, and I 100%, 1000% jerked off to this a lot. In fact, when
Misty's going to listen to that soundbite later and just go.
I might have tweeted. But in fact, I went to Oral Roberts University, and somebody in the
Oral what?
Roberts.
Oh,
Two gay
Roberts.
Bobs.
Right.
Somebody in the mail department reported me to the dean of students because I was getting a homoerotic magazine that had provocative pictures of men in underwear, and I got in trouble. True story.
Wow. You see, I'm constantly reminded that I am clearly not gay enough when I'm sitting at this
Victoria's
table
Secret,
at times.
Sports Illustrated.
I never masturbated to any of these magazines, guys. I was a very good young Christian girl who went to youth services and attended Bible studies Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday nights, and Sundays. So what I've blossomed into is a whole other story.
She's supposed to say that. She's running for mayor.
Oh, there we go. Truth.
Oh Lord.
I will admit that I did also have International Mail. International Mail did it for me, but what I really got off to was comic book. I will admit that.
Yeah.
Even the sketches got me off.
Yeah, absolutely. The underwear section of the Sears catalog. That's, I think, really the joke, the underwear section. Because sometimes you could really see it in the underwear pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Sears catalog, though.
Yeah, in the
But
Sears
it was
catalog.
undergear.
Men's.
Good.
No, and even, no, that's not true. I have personal firsthand knowledge. All right, let's move on. The next question in I'd Swallow That. This is kind of difficult. I would sleep with someone from the cast or crew of one of the Happening Out television network shows.
Is production included in this?
It says anyone. Sure. I would sleep cast or crew.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Let's move on. Our final question. By the way, that's a record. We're getting ready to celebrate our 2-year anniversary. I think that's the first time ever that we've done an I'd Swallow That where a single word has not been is said. All right, I'd swallow that. And that, that completes all of our questions for I'd Swallow That. That's all of our questions. I'm a little confused now.
There you have it, folks.
The question got him together, and he's like,
I got this, Al. I swallow that. You're watching It's Happening Out.
I hate you, sir. I hate you. All right, let's move into. I am a little befuddled. Let's move into one of our celebrity topics that we want to talk about tonight, and that is WAP. WAP is the hot song of the summer, but is it too much? We ask this question. Before we talk about it, watch this.
Video. And just as a preface to this video, let me note some of the headlines about this video from mainstream outlets. The headline from Complex was, "Why Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's empowering anthem, WAP, is so important." It's very important, guys. This is a very, very empowering, important anthem. It doesn't make men think of women in a purely sexual fashion. It is women empowering themselves. It is super empowerment. Here are some of the lyrics. You ready? Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P-word. P-word is female genitalia. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P-word. A bucket and a mop? A bucket and a mop for this wet ass P-word. So first of all, she had to clarify whether wet ass P-word was a description of the P-word or whether one of the clinical symptoms here was also diarrhea. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P-word. My first concern is that these women are describing a serious gynecological condition. Beat it up, N-word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P-word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P-word is wet, come take a dive. So this suggests that there's an awful lot of, not to be too graphic, but some sort of medical discharge that's happening here. Like a lot too much, right? A lot too much, because that's a symptom of something that is not going great. This sounds like there's something that is going on here that is not biologically normal. A serious condition that requires the care of a doctor. So, fortunately, I know a doctor, who is my wife. And so I asked her for her medical diagnosis. And she looked at the lyrics herself. And after being kind of appalled by them, obviously, she had a few sort of indicators here on how she could diagnose the vaginal condition that apparently these women are suffering from.
Oh, God.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP is being hailed by some as an anthem for women embracing their own sexuality, while others have criticized it as vulgar and disgusting. Is there a double standard going on here in the music industry when it comes to male versus female artists? What do y'all think?
Power go.
Power go. Well, I think everybody's going to be surprised by my opinion, which is, to each their own. Everybody has their own opinions on what have you. I don't negate what anybody else thinks, and if women find this empowering, then I support that. For me, however, I have the same standard, whether it be men's lyrics that are nasty or women's lyrics that are nasty. I just can't be bothered. Me personally, I can't be bothered. So for me, it's too much. But you know what I do when I think something is too much? I just simply don't listen. I don't criticize. I don't judge. I just simply don't listen. And that's my right.
Well, I'm going to jump right in here, Power, because I love you, and you do what you do, okay? And Ben Shapiro, though, is the one that really ruffles my feathers on this. Talking about it as if, it's like you don't even know what's going on, okay? And this is simply a genre of music where they express themselves as what is the word I'm looking for? But as vulgar as they want to, period, okay? And if a woman wants to own the power of her P word, like you don't even know what it is, okay?
What's the P word?
What is the P word? If you wanna own the P word,
we say dick freely.
Yeah,
dick freely. What's the big deal?
Oh my God, pussy. Oh my God,
yeah.
the pussy. Okay, get over it. Okay, get over it. And like Power says, if you don't like the music, don't listen to it. Would I play it around my little niece and nephew? Probably not. It's not appropriate. But guys, that's just judgment. That's a judgment call. If it's appropriate around the people who's listening to it, who cares? Okay, Who cares? And the P word, it's so scary.
Yeah. Did anybody? Well, it is. First off, it's very scary. Did anyone see? Speaking of scary, Leslie Jordan's reaction when they put it in front of him when he realized what WAP meant?
Yeah,
priceless.
It was priceless.
So I agree with my other panelists on this topic. I think if women want to be just as vulgar, go for it. Would I play this in front of children? Hell no. In front of my kids? Hell no. Would I perform on a club dance floor? Yes, I would. If a woman wants to talk about her wet ass pussy, let her talk about her wet ass pussy. I think that people get so bent out of shape when women do things that men are already doing and say they cannot. That irritates me. What really irritates me, let me finish my thought before you confuse me and change the topic. What really, really irritates me is this man talking about his wife who has never been wet and saying that they're having medical discharge because they are wet.
Yeah.
Women splash. That happens. And he has never gotten his wife off. And if she has never gotten wet for him, I apologize. He apparently does not know how to do it. It doesn't make sense to me. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, to me, the most interesting thing in this topic is why do gay men especially react this way? Because even in the comments that are said here, I have a natural... Revulsion is too harsh a word. It's too harsh a word.
Repellent.
But for understanding, let me use repulsion. I have a natural repulsion to the observations that were made, and I think many, many gay men do. But simultaneously, I know that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And we talk as gay men in exactly the same way, and we go, fine, fine, fine. But when women do it, there is a natural revulsion, especially among gay men. And so as a result, I think we've been trained and taught to think that way.
Yeah, I mean, is this becoming a misogynistic conversation?
That's
is that
exactly
where we're going
where
with
it
this,
goes.
you know? It's just that we continue to see this, and we continue to see this. Women have the right to be whoever they want to be and whoever they choose to be and represent themselves however way they want to be and hold their P word as much as they want to.
You were
and
clear on that, by the way.
Okay, you know, it's just like, what are we in second grade here, you know? And I'm just over men talking about our female genitalia. It's like it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. You know, guys, we have vaginas, we have pussies. That's that's the difference. And a gay man, if you're getting revulsed by it, it's probably because you're gay, and it's okay because I'll introduce you to a bunch of lesbians who also get revulsed by the conversation around penis or the other P word.
Yeah, exactly. Let me push out, because many things that we want to talk about tonight. We want to first off thank one of our sponsors of It's Happening Out, and that's the Best Western here, I-95, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale. Happening Out Television is sponsored by the Best Western. It's a great place to stay. When you come to South Florida, make sure you look at the Best Western, Oakland Park, Powerline Road. We also want to thank our brand new set and our set partnership here at Sunshine Cathedral. This is the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors, Florida. We always joke we're broadcasting, and true, from the gayest place on planet Earth. And our support of their Sunday celebration is the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We encourage you to tune in and remind you that Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this. Y'all, what are we doing with...
Watkins, Senior Minister, Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we'd also like to thank our set that is courtesy of Concepto Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale. Next tonight on It's Happening Out, our production team pays attention to many things that are interesting, and we call this segment that we're getting ready to do Best Thing of the Week. So in Best Thing of the Week, we call it New Trump Hats from Mexico. Watch this.
And I know you have come to expect hats now. So I have ordered 5 million of this. Always ask before grabbing a pussy. You like? I have some other ones. 65 million is more than 62 million. Putin is not my puppy. Trump has baby fingers. Not afraid of stairs. America, the rest of the world looks up to you. We're counting on you. So you don't have to vote for me, but please elect someone who will make a better president than Donald Trump. Like this mug or this tape. Hell, at this point, we will even take another Bush.
This ad was paid for by the ghost of Donald Trump's dead dad, who was looking up from hell with shame in his eyes.
We'll have to ask Scott Newmark about that. Any quick thoughts?
It's hilarious that Mexico is reading America right now, and I think it is sad but hilarious.
Right now, I've been reading America, and that guy, Vicente Fox or whatever his name is.
That's the president of Mexico.
Yeah.
Ex-president, right?
Ex-president, right.
Yeah, ex-president. Right. He's always reading the dog shit out of Trump, and I'm just loving it. Anything that shames or brings misery to Trump brings me much delight. So,
yeah.
Well, you know, it gives us the opportunity. We're going to transition into It's Happening Out's main topic for tonight. And of course, as everyone knows, the RNC is going on this week. We are joined tonight by the president of Americans for Trump, Scott Newmark. And Scott has been with us before. He's been a guest host at It's Happening Out, so he has participated in our insanity before, so he knows what it's all about. And of course, very topical this week with the Republican National Convention going on. Welcome, Scott. Good evening. Welcome back to It's Happening Out. And
you're muted.
Scott, you may be muted, or try again, Scott, and let's do a sound test.
We're live. Podcast.
We're live, as I told you, and anything can happen. Scott, we're working on sound for you.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, production is going to continue to work. We're going to continue to do this topic, and we're going to pull you in as soon as we can. Our topic tonight is about the RNC, and the RNC has shown Republican excitement for sure for Trump. And we ask, as the RNC is going on, are they showing this week why he can win the election? Before we jump into this conversation, let's watch this.
The DNC last week really set a low bar, and the Republicans showed up prepared and ready to actually start this election. Last week, the DNC focused on kind of portraying Biden as this nice, empathetic guy. The RNC did not spend the whole time focused on Donald Trump last night. They focused on those issues that are most important to voters. What is this country going to look like after the election? They had some great speakers. Everyone brought something kind of unique to the table, but there was definitely a common thread throughout those speeches, which was the portrayal of a stark contrast of two different visions for this country. One is a country where you can have the freedom to work at a job you love and provide for your family, live in a safe community and be proud of your country. The other is a country where political correctness is prioritized over safety and security, where cops are being defunded, and where our history is literally being torn down. I thought Tim Scott was the star of the night. I love how he mentioned George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and COVID right at the beginning of his speech. And he said, our country will get through these hard times by embracing the American journey, not by, socialism and empowering bureaucrats in DC.
Well, tonight we bring and begin night 3 of the Republican National Convention. Quite a lot of firebrand speeches so far. The big question for us at It's Happening Out is, could this influence the LGBTQ community? There's quite a bit of work going on to influence 5% of our community. And that's what they're looking for, 5% of the LGBT community. And as a result, It's Happening Out asks the question, could what we're watching here and what happens for approximately just over the next 2 months, is it going to be enough where Trump could win the election? But are we too afraid to even consider that possibility? So what do y'all think?
I mean, I'm speechless from the speeches that I've been witnessing over the past couple of days. As someone who's pretty open-minded, and I'm always open to listening to the counter argument and to the other side, and I'm always willing to meet in the middle somewhere, I just have zero connection or cannot relate at all to any of the things that are coming out of the mouths of these people who are stepping up on stage. It's as if they're living in a bubble that is completely disconnected from the reality of many Americans living in this country right now.
Josie said it right. I will proudly say that I have chosen to look at the headlines and the sound bites the day after every single night of this virtual Klan rally. I myself would rather, boil rice one by one before I sit there and watch and endure and suffer 2 or 3 hours of the Republican National Convention. Unlike Josie, I am really unwilling to listen to what the other side has to say because I know it's all bullshit. But to answer your question, Al, yes, Trump can win. And this is a lesson that we learned. If we didn't learn before, we should have learned by now, that it is very possible for Trump to win. Myself and many learned that the hard way the last time. We were so sure that Trump was going to lose, so sure that he was going to lose. And he definitely showed us that it was possible for somebody, the village idiot, to win the presidency. So I certainly believe that this time around, I'm prepared for the fact that Trump can win, but I'm furiously working and hoping that America shows us better.
Well, first off, before we continue the conversation, Scott, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, and I can hear you. LGBTQ America, let me reintroduce you. This is Scott Newmark. He is president of Americans for Trump, has participated in It's Happening Out before as a panelist. We're watching the RNC this week. Scott, how do you think they're doing so far? Tell us about, from your perspective, how are they doing?
From our perspective, they are doing fabulous. The convention is sensationally effective and in ways that the mainstream media and your panelists will find it impossible to understand. Just exactly like Power said, the village idiots. Keep calling us village idiots and prepare to lose again, my friend. Prepare to lose again, because Donald Trump is the greatest reality show on earth, and he never disappoints. He's unveiled a smart program that skillfully is stitched people, policies, and politics. So keep underestimating us and with again.
You know, Scott, in terms of what's going on at the RNC, Richard Grenell, the former German ambassador from the United States, has been appointed as the LGBT ambassador to coordinate over a little more than 2 months up into the election for LGBT community. First off, did you have any reaction of Richard Grenell's appointment for LGBT?
I thought that was a fabulous appointment. Richard Grenell was a great ambassador to Germany. He's a great asset to the Trump administration and to the Trump campaign for his re-election. And the LGBT and the gay community should be applauding Donald Trump, criticizing him reflexively.
And thoughts? Richard Grenell's appointment, what we're watching, you hear, Scott, the RNC, and I hear this in every corner. The Republicans are celebrating what's going on.
Well, of course the Republicans are celebrating, just like the Democrats celebrated after our DNC. Of course they're going to celebrate. And as for what Scott said, that you hope that we are prepared to lose again. Guess what? I'm prepared to lose again. That's not going to be a problem. We lost before, so this time, like I said, we learned our lesson. We're prepared to lose again. The question is, are you prepared to lose? Maybe we should put up the Suicide National Hotline, because some of y'all going to be needing it if Trump loses. I'm ready. I'm prepared to lose, so I'll be fine. Will you? That's the question. Now, as for this appointment, let's get into this. Let's get into it. As for this appointment of this gay person, this token movement, you don't stab somebody repeatedly in the back and then shake their hand in the front and say, well, because I'm shaking your hand, the stabs don't mean anything. Because I have repeatedly on social media, and I will do so in the comments after this show, put up all the things the Trump administration has done to the LGBT community since November 5th, actually going all the way 3 years now, since March 10th of 2017. And whenever I put this up, every time I'm in a debate with somebody, every time I put up this list, the list is so long that to read it would actually take days. From March 10th, 2017, all the way up, well, actually up until now, Trump has done nothing but try to come after our trans community, our gay community, and people of color in our community. So, okay, great. He got one guy in office as a token move for to say that he's doing something for the LGBT community, but everything else that he's done to us does not equal up, does not equate, and does not balance out. Period.
Scott, to Power's point that he just made, help us understand, you've talked about this before in terms of the LGBT community. A very, very obviously a significant percentage of the LGBT community will agree with Power's observation, but help us understand from the president's standpoint and the administration standpoint and Americans for Trump standpoint, how do you resolve the fact that you think that the president's done a good job in the LGBTQ community and therefore deserves support or a percentage of support and re-election? How do you resolve that issue?
That's a good question.
It's very simple, and Power engages in hyperbole, which he's known to do. The LGBT community is part of the American community, and when America does well, that community does well. The economy was thriving before the Chinese Communist Party unleashed the COVID-19 virus on America. Power talks about supposed rights taken away. There hasn't been one right taken away.
Oh, really? Shall I start reading? Shall I start reading this list? Shall I start reading this list? So, I come with receipts. Shall I start reading? March 10, 2017, the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced it would withdraw 2 important agency proposed policies designed to protect LGBT people experiencing homelessness. One proposed policy would have required HLD-funded emergency shelters to put up a poster or notice to residents of their rights. Let's go on. March 13, 2017. March 18, 2017. It's not a made-up list. These are policies that have been
It's a
enacted.
made-up list.
No, it's not.
It's
No, it's not.
why
You're going to say it is, I'm going to say it's not. It's not. It's not a made-up list. You know why it's not a made-up list? People
Scott,
are actually suffering. People
Scott,
are
explain.
actually suffering and are actually experiencing results of this made-up list. So
Scott,
it's a made-up list. People are actually feeling real results. Please. Made-up list for real results. Made-up list for real results.
Victim. What was
made up list for real results. And when America does good, and this idea that when America does good, everybody else does good, it has been wrong for 401 years. Black people ain't been doing good because America's been doing good, and marginalized people in the LGBT community haven't been doing good because America does. You know who does good in Trump's America? White, straight people. That's who does good. That's who does good. White, straight Republicans. His base does good. It's even.
Scott, help us in terms of zeroing in on one of the key components of the topic that we're discussing tonight. I'm sorry, I missed you. And which is Trump is behind in most of the battleground state polls. Let's try not to discuss the validity of polls and their accuracy. Let's assume for a moment that the polls are true, if we can have that conversation. How is it that LGBTQ America should prepare for Joe Biden's win or Trump's loss? Because right now, the numbers don't look so good for Donald Trump. The question here is for the RNC that we're watching this week, will it be effective in terms of pushing Trump across the finish line? So far, the polls indicate that that's not true. What do you think about that he's significantly behind in many of the battleground states, and as a result, he's not going to be reelected?
Well, I deeply disagree with the polls. If you want to believe the polls and Hillary to be president today, so let's diss the polls. The convention is the greatest show on earth.
He's definitely a show.
The the convention is guided by an upbeat, optimistic, America first spirit of patriotism, as opposed to the Democrats and their supporters who have a message of urban chaos and socialist policies, making American lives less safe and the American middle class destroyed.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
Between a Trump America and a Democrat America.
Okay.
Jobs versus mobs. Jobs versus mobs. The Democrats wanted to fund the police. The Democrats believe in socialism, socialist policies, and the
Did you get that memo? Did you get that memo? Because I'm pretty sure I got that memo by mistake. I just forgot to learn my bullet points.
My agenda is to survive. Scott, I have a question for you. I have been very quiet on this topic so far tonight, and America, either side.
He's not hearing you yet.
How can he not hear me?
Go ahead.
No, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Either side, everyone is taking this election very personal. And I agree with many of the things Power just said, if not all of them. I know in my heart that he has tried to erase the trans community and the LGBTQ community. I want, in your opinion, what he has done for our community, because I don't see it. In your opinion, as an LGBTQ for Trump, what exactly has he done for us?
I tried to explain that before. See, what Democrats do is they divide the population.
I don't want to talk about Democrats versus Republicans. I want to talk about what Trump did for our community.
I mean, other than have the greatest economy in the history of the world.
I'm talking about the LGBTQ.
But see, here's
they're part of the American community.
Here's the ships that pass in the night. I just put it in front of all of you. First off, at the risk of significant backlash from many viewers that it's happening out, I have to say it's brave for Scott Newmark as the president of Americans for Trump to come on. It's happening out. First off, let me get that out of the way. Brave of him to do it. Here's how the ships pass in the middle of the night, because the Republicans' point of view is that that Trump has been great for the LGBT community because so many things improved. Economy, jobs, stock market, let's add 20 other things. Okay, well, whatever it is. The basis of the value of Trump for the LGBT community is it's a subset of the American community. And as a result, Trump has been good for them. That's the argument. For us to continue to pound on that doesn't really get us farther in our understanding of whether he can win or not, because the Americans for Trump and every other Trump organization is going to continue to come back to this point over and over again, and we're going to come back to saying, but there's this and this and this and this. The real value of this conversation is to represent, they're looking for only 5% of us. 5%.
Yeah, and so that's what they're saying right there. And I hear you, Scott, loud and clear. You're painting a broad stroke over an entire community and over the U.S. And I hear what you're saying loud and clear. But the reality of it is that we're sitting here with real experience, having this moment, and you guys are just going after low-hanging fruit, quite frankly. That's what I'm hearing. And so it doesn't even matter. You guys will just keep on drilling your message and continue to talk about Democrats wanting to defund the police and divide the nation. I'm going to tell you the truth, with all due respect, and you and I've had plenty of conversation. I respect you for your views, but quite frankly, my experience of the Republican Party is a projection party, because you guys seem to just continue speaking into everything that you seem to be actually doing.
What do you think about that, Scott?
All I can tell you is that this president has done more for the LGBT community than President Obama.
That's why I asked you.
What has Biden done? They've done nothing. They're all talk, and then after the election, they disappear for 8 years.
Well, when Biden. Okay, you asked what has Biden done, but Biden was in the administration that during the administration we won our right to marry. Can Trump or Pence or anybody in his administration lay claim to something that big, that landmark for us? Can you? No. And if you want to talk about
the only reason you had the right to marry was because of the United States Supreme Court. Nothing to do with
I'm sorry, but you can't say that, because you know what Trump said in the 2016 campaign. He blamed Bush for the 9/11 attacks, didn't he? He blamed Bush for the 9/11 attacks and said, well, it happened under his watch. I saw that. I was there. I remember him saying that it happened under his watch. So he laid the blame of what happened under the Bush administration, anything that happened under the Bush administration, at his feet. So, and to be fair, if you're going to do that, then you have to lay the blame, good or bad, anything that happened in an administration at the feet of that administration. So if Bush could be blamed for 9/11, which it wasn't his fault, then Obama can get the credit for us being able to marry. It's just fair. According to Trump, that's how it goes. And if you want to talk about how wonderful we are doing in this country, since you say America is doing so wonderful, currently we have over 172,606 deaths. Currently, the national debt is 24.95 trillion. Currently, our unemployed is 51 million. So I really don't see where America is doing so fabulous. If that's going to be your argument, okay, well, he's done so much for the LGBT community because America is doing so well. America is in a world of shit right now. So how is that good for them, for the LGBT community? Any way you cut it, we're fucked.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying this, and Scott, and I would like to echo what Al said. Scott, I do thank you for coming on. And this is not personal toward you. It's not personal toward you. My passion is toward the issues and toward Trump. It is not toward you. I really do like you, and I thank you for coming on. But I said what I said.
But I'm still confused. If you say he has done more for the LGBT community, but can't name one thing.
I really like being on. I enjoyed being on. And I like this debate. I like all of you. And I love being invited. And then whenever you invite me, I'll come on. We just have a different view of the world. And I'm happy.
Right.
And wait, that's what I want to zero back in on. That's the value of this conversation. The question that we're talking about tonight, sitting dead middle of the RNC, is will they be successful? I want to ask you really quickly before we continue. What did you think about the use of the White House, the Rose Garden, the implementation of the naturalization service, the pardon, etc. At least let's agree, moving beyond norms that we've never seen before.
Brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. Trump is an unconventional president. He is the true glass ceiling shattering president.
I agree with you on that.
He's not a politician. He was a
agree with you on
businessman who beat two political parties, the Democrats
Anybody can be
and the
president.
Republicans. I love it. I love what he did, and he's going to do more in the next 2 nights.
There it is. I'm just telling you, in terms of our exploration over the next 70 some days, that's going to be the issue. They're throwing a net out. They're not going to get power. It's clear. They're not trying to get power. If they are going to re-elect President Trump, they need 5% of the LGBT community.
Yeah, and and it's really sad though. I want to say this to our community. It's very sad that they can, that Republicans can throw such a wide net and just catch anyone in its net. I mean, that to me, that demeans our entire community. It cheapens, it dilutes the power of our community, the struggle, the history of our community, the fight that we have put on through the ages to arrive where we are. It's sad right now, guys. And when we talk about that, when it's just okay to say we're going to throw this big net and we don't even care, because we don't care about you, Power. We don't care about you, Misty. Probably don't care about me, Josie, an independent sitting at the table. Nobody really cares. So we're not building. We're not talking about a thriving America for all people. We're talking about a thriving America for a few. And I can't get behind that. And I don't care how you dress it up. And I don't care how you claim that it's positivity that you're preaching. But the reality is that the America you guys are promoting is not for all Americans.
No,
I agree.
No. I have a question for Al.
Go ahead, Power.
I do have a question for Al, and I thought about this a couple of days ago. Al, you always say that they always need to get at least 5% of the LGBT community. I don't know if you have this answer. Maybe it might be something you might want to research and get back to us. But how much of a percent would we need to get of the Republican, maybe the Republican LGBT community for us? For it to make a difference.
I can do a good shot in the dark at you. No one knows, because over the last 2 decades, quite frankly, we haven't seen the situation that we're watching with the Lincoln Project, for example. We've never seen this before. So really nobody is confident of what's happening. Kellyanne's situation and other related Republican defection, we haven't seen it to the degree of what's happening over Trump. So we don't know that. And we're going to probably go into the election where this is going to be a nail biter. We're going to go into it and it's going to be a nail biter. The one thing so I can't answer your question, and I don't think anybody really can in a very sophisticated way answer your question. However, I am quite clear that the reason there are blacks for Trump, the reason why there are Asians for Trump, the reason why there are gays for Trump, the reason why you have Scott's organization, Americans for Trump, the strategy is highly successful. It just is, because they're building a broad coalition of percentages where they're willing to say, well, if you don't come along with us, that's okay, because we will get to the number that we need to continue and have Donald Trump reelected. And if that happens, if they get to 5% of the LGBT community, 94% of the LGBT community are going to want to throw themselves over a cliff on November 4. but Donald Trump will still be president. That's why I don't shout Scott down, because I completely understand. Scott and I do not agree, but I completely hear and understand what he is saying. And I think frequently...
I think that everybody on this panel at least is in agreement on one thing, and that is that Trump can win.
Yes.
There's been no debate between myself and Scott or anybody else on that.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
65 is more than 63. He can win.
Let me just jump in. And really the bottom line is, like every election nowadays, it comes down truly to a handful of states. And that's what the election's all about. There are a handful of states that are going to determine this election, and Florida is clearly one of them.
You know,
but Power's absolutely right. Anyone who's writing Donald Trump off because he's behind in some polls in the dead middle of summer in August is not paying attention.
I agree.
Because Trump was more behind against Hillary Clinton at the same point 4 years ago.
You know, and
we'll agree on that. We will agree on that. Polls. I ain't even trying to hear nothing about polls, because polls fooled me.
I don't give a shit about polls.
Polls fooled me the last time. I don't want to hear it. The only
Yeah.
poll I'm interested in is the polls on election day.
Although he was winning the polls.
Absolutely, that's right.
We
And
agree on
hopefully,
that.
and Scott and I would agree. Hopefully, a lot of it by mail, and LGBT community vote frequently and often by mail, as many times as you can. Scott's face is
Al, can I end? I know, are you coming
Yeah,
to the end of the
yes. This, and you're going to get the last voice.
Just try to uplifting thought. I mean, listen, I'm not saying America is perfect. America isn't perfect. But the principles we hold dear together as Americans are perfect. And if there's one thing that I've learned, even on our worst day, is that all of us, we won the DNA lottery, and we're all blessed to live in America, and we seek a nation that rises together and it doesn't fall apart in anarchy. That's how I'd like to leave it today.
All right. Well, we want to end this segment. We're sitting in the middle of the RNC. One thing that I want to say to LGBT American people all over the world that are listening to this show, this is a rare opportunity where in LGBT media, we have somebody like Scott Newmark, president of Americans for Trump, in the middle of the RNC, to explain his perspective and what Trump's perspective is for our community. And so, Scott, we thank you for spending the time to do it, even if, we really appreciate your, and Scott, we're going to have you back frequently and often to It's Happening Out and Happen
It's always a pleasure. You've got a great show, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And so that's our discussion about the RNC, and can Trump win? I think we all concluded. Yes, he can. It's just a question of how he gets there, and it's a question of what the LGBT.
And don't use Obama's slogan. Yeah.
All right. Our time on this segment has completely destroyed our show plan. So I'm going to go to Shag, Marry, Chop, because we have to finish in a couple of minutes. And we're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop. And that's a game where I ask the host who and why and what. And I'll ask them to kind of get right to the point because my eye is on the clock. Please help support. We are going to select 3 different people, and they're going to play our game. So let's play. All right, now I'm going to do this wrong because we're playing Ay Papi.
Ay Papi, que rico.
Que rico. And we're going to play Mike Ruiz, friend of mine, and Wilson Cruz, and Ricky Martin. These boys are beautiful. I was gonna, I went totally sexual. Power's going, child. Power, since you're in remote, you tell us, who would you shag?
This for me is very, very easy. I'm going to shag Wilson Cruz because he's body yachty. I'm going to marry Mike Cruz because he's bodied down. Plus, I know that
Mike Ruiz.
Oh, Mike Ruiz, I'm sorry. Because he's bodied down, and plus I know I will get a fabulous photo shoot like every day.
Every day.
He will elevate my drag career.
And Ricky's out?
And Ricky, I've known Ricky since the Menudo days, so it's kind of like, he's kind of like a one-night stand that I've already had, so
Yeah, that's funny. Josie, who are you shagging?
Well, come on, guys. Okay, so first off, I think I'm going to totally shag that Mike Ruiz. He looks distinguished and sexy. And like Power says, he might give me a good, photo shoot out of it or something. And then I'm definitely marrying my Puerto Rican brother, Ricky Martin. Okay, and then Wilson, I love you, brother, because you just keep doing your work, but we'll just stay colleagues and allies in the fight.
And our straight white woman is shagging who?
I am going to shag Wilson. It's funny because I've met everyone on this panel except for Ricky Martin, but I'm shagging Wilson Cruz, and I'm going to marry Ricky Martin. I've had a crush on you since you were a soap opera star. And I am chopping Mike Ruiz, although I almost got persuaded with the photo option of having a husband with the camera, but I'm still going to marry Ricky Martin.
Yeah, and it's first and foremost Mike Ruiz. He has a new project that he's doing, and he's soliciting.
You're playing?
No, and I'm just voicing support for Mike Ruiz.
Mike.
We're going to move on. Before we end the show, I want to thank our sponsor, Jets Pizza. They sponsor It's Happening Out, and we're getting ready to enjoy some Jets Pizza. We're going to say goodnight. I ask all of us to help us because of my time situation. And Power, let's begin with you.
Good night, children. Watch us next week and every week right here, and It's Happening Out. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Oh, and Misty Eyez.
Thank you all for watching very much. We love having you here and following our show. Please come back.
And Chef Josie.
You guys stay healthy, stay safe, and stay positive, and we will definitely see you next week.
And America, remember this conversation about in the middle of the Republican National Convention is an example of what can be done in conversation in the LGBT community. To get the president of Americans for Trump to come on the show, that is not a natural. It is not a natural, but we can have conversation, and we have to understand what the Republicans and the RNC and President Trump is trying to accomplish in the LGBT community. That is why you continue to tune in. For these next 70-some days, it's going to be quite a dramatic moment, especially COVID-19. So remember, America, if it's important to you, it's important at It's Happening Out. Good night, America.
Good night.